Okay, this is part 2 of the 6.3 lecture video. And remember, we are learning how to factor trinomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's look at number 3 here. We have 8a squared minus 2a minus 3. So a is the 8. B is -2, and C is -3. Now, of course, remember, we should always look to see if we can factor out a greatest common factor first from every single term. And in this one, we cannot. So now we go to multiplying A times C, which is 8 times a -3, or a -24. So we need all the factors that multiply to give us -24. So we have +1, -24, -1 and +24, 2 and -12, -2 and +12, 3 and -8, -3 and +8, 4 and -6, and -4 and +6. So remember, we need these to add up to be -2. So you can check that. The ones that add to give us -2 are the 4 and the -6. So now we have 8a squared, and remember, we're going to bust the b term. So I'm going to write plus 4a minus 6a minus 3. Now we need to be careful here when we group our terms, because we have a -6 here, and if we're not careful, we'll screw up the signs. Or maybe you won't, but I will. So let's group them this way. We'll have 8a squared plus 4a. And then I'm going to put a plus, and I'm going to move that negative inside with the 6a. So -6a minus 3. Okay, now from the first set of parentheses, we can pull out a GCF of a 4a, which leaves us with 2a plus 1. From the second set of parentheses, we can pull out a -3, which leaves us with a 2a plus 1. So now, since we have a 2a plus 1 in both terms, we can factor out the 2a plus 1, which leaves us with a 4a minus 3. And of course, we can check this by multiplying it back out. So 2a times 4a gives us 8a squared, minus 2a times a -3 is 6a. 1 times 4a is plus 4a, and 1 times a -3 is minus 3. And when we combine like terms, we get 8a squared minus 2a minus 3, which is what we started with. All right, let's try number 4 now. On number 4, we have a GCF we can factor out of a 2x. That leaves us 7x squared minus 10x plus 7. Okay. Whoa, not a 10x, a 50x. Good golly, my math is horrible. Sorry, guys. 50x. That's much better. Now, remember, we're going to make the 7 our A, the negative 50 our B, and the plus 7 our C. So we need to do A times C again, which is 7 times 7, or 49. So, things that multiply to give us 49. 1 and 49, or negative 1 and negative 49. And 7 and 7, or negative 7 and negative 7. They need to add up to be negative 50, so that's the negative 1 and the negative 49. So let's bust the B term. Remember, we still have the 2x out front. Then inside we have 7x squared minus 1x minus 49x plus 7. Now again, we have to be careful because of this negative on our second term with an x in it. So we have 2x. When we break these up, we're going to have 7x squared minus 1x. And you don't have to write that 1 if you don't want to. And then plus a negative 49x plus 7. Okay, so the 2x is still hanging out there. If we have a 7x minus 1x, we can factor out a GCF of x from that, which leaves us 7x minus 1. Plus, I'm going to factor a negative 7 for our GCF out of the second parentheses because I always like to have my x term be positive if possible. So 7x minus 1. And so if you need to check that you got the signs right, you can multiply back through. So the negative 7 times 7x gives us negative 49x, and the negative 7 times a negative 1 gives us a positive 7. The other reason, I guess I should say, is that I factored out a negative 7 is because remember, when we factor by grouping, we need to get two things that are the same. So if I did not factor out a negative 7 right there, then my two red underlined factors would not match, and they need to. So we have 2x, and since both of the terms in the parentheses have 7x minus 1, I can factor that out. And that leaves me with an x minus 7. And I'll leave it for you to check to see if we did that right. That's the end of 6.3. We'll pick up with 6.4 in the next video.